bro.
Are you crying?
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Why are you crying?
Because of today's movie. It was a heartfelt movie.
Not really.
You didn't think it was heartfelt near the end?
Like, towards the end, I guess a little bit, but for most of it, I was not impressed.
And then they had the sad montage where they needed him in his life.
Yeah, it wasn't really sad. That's the problem.
It didn't tickle your. Alright, I'm done. I was trying to do a bit, but I can't do this thing.
I know you were trying to do a bit, and you were doing really good.
Oh.
But no, I legitimately didn't care for this movie.
Okay, no, it had its. I'm not gonna lie. First of all, why don't we tell the people which movie we're reviewing?
We're reviewing Someone Marry Barry. It came out on February 7th of 2014. What is it rated?
I think it was rated R.
No, I meant like on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. 5.8 on IMDb.
Oh, really? I didn't think it was really. Well, that score kind of prizes me.
Yeah, but I will say there was a couple good parts, like I'm a treasure, and you're a bad pirate.
I'm not gonna lie, that made me laugh. He's like, I'm a good treasure, and you're a bad pirate.
Dude, I had to pause it. I had to take a minute, and then I rewound it, and I was like, say that again. And I did that about 3 times, and I'm like, I've got to bring this up in the episode. And I started furiously typing down notes. I'm a treasure, and you're a bad pirate, Devin. You need to work on your podcast.
That's a big oof.
Like the movie or that quote?
So both. The movie. I'm not gonna lie. Also, I have seen this movie before, but I seen the ending of it a long time ago with my uncle.
Okay.
When did this movie come out? 2014?
Yeah, February.
Yeah, no, I see. It was after it made its theater run. You know how it is when they put movies in theaters and then they go on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him and my aunt were watching it when we came by the house, so I remember that ending. You know where he's at the Shakespeare play.
Yeah.
That's when I walked in and I'm like, "What are y'all watching?" They're like, "Someone Marry Barry," and then I was like, "This looks stupid."
I think we need to get more in the meat and potatoes area. Okay.
All right.
So, for the premise of the movie, it's about 3 friends. So the friend group consists of a guy who is very immature, and that's like his whole character thing. But he's immature, so he's good with kids. Oh, all right.
Yep.
Then you got the one who's got his life together. And
which one? Because I thought none of them had their life together.
The one with the job, he had his life together, and then it kind of went off the tracks. But I'll explain that in a minute. But he had his life together. He was married. He had a wife. He was played by Damon Wayans Jr. And then you had Hayes MacArthur's character, who was divorced and had a kid. And his whole premise of doing things with his child was, I'm going to get so many chicks.
Go hang out with Uncle Barry.
Yeah, that was like the whole thing. And I was just thinking, this man's a horrible father. And the last person in the friend group is played by Thomas Middleditch, who, oddly enough, is a simp. I mean, MacArthur is also a simp, but Kurt and Wrath, but Kurt's a lot worse on the simp scale.
Bruh, that girl was a B word, and I was like, bruh.
You know we can still swear, right? Just because it's a new episode doesn't mean I recanted that.
Okay, that woman was a bitch, a harlot, a fucking stuck-up bitch. Like, I fucking hated her.
I just want you to know, your audio glitched when you said bitch on one of those, and I really hope it stays in the recording.
I hope it does too. That's probably the damn censorship.
But no, basically Kurt's character is like rubbing her feet, like, I can change, like, so she's happy. And his bigger revelation was juice. Like,
I know. At first, I was like, bro, is this guy in defeat? And they're all like, bro, she's manipulating. He's like, no.
like she literally showed up to a party, like, quote unquote, with another guy.
She did? Did I miss that scene?
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
I'm jumping the shark. I'm just really caught up how there's one Chad and two simps in this group, and then you just got the one straight guy, like it's How I Met Your Mother.
It did kind of. I didn't even think of that parody. But no, he's like, no.
So
And they're
basically, they went to a camp together as children, and they've been best friends ever since. Because the camp's motto, what was the camp's motto?
Best pals forever.
Yeah, which is the camp's motto. So clearly, they have to live by this creed now because they went to this camp together and they have a photo together.
I mean, that's what Barry said. And I'm just like, sure, Barry.
Dude, and then like the big revelation, like we've got to do something about Barry. He's causing trouble. Was the fact that he stood up at the wedding and talked about all the stuff that he did with one of the Ralph's dad, and about how he taught him to smoke weed. They took him to porno and all that.
No, it was at the funeral. It was a funeral.
Yeah, it was at the funeral. He was telling about how Ralph's dad did all that with him as kids. So they're like, well, Barry. Clearly, there's a Barry in every group. No offense, Devin, but I was like, towards the start of this, I was like, dude, you're Barry. And I got further in the movie, I'm like, Devin's not Barry. Devin's not Barry.
See, I was watching it, and I was like, oh, shit, I'm a Barry. And then I'm watching, I'm like, wait, I'm not a Barry.
No, like, you are a Barry, but not like this. This is too much Barry, if you will. Okay, so in college, Devin was the one that would make inappropriate jokes and didn't have a filter. Which is why I prompted us to be like, oh yeah, Devin's Barry. And then as this went on, like the writing for it wasn't good, so he was just like fart jokes, poop jokes, and then they all go on a trip together. The simp Kurt, Sir Simp-a-Lot, his girlfriend's like, you can't be friends with Barry and date me, so they break up, and Kurt's all depressed, and then Desmond's character gets high with Barry and hits on the boss's daughter, and he gets fired.
Bruh, I know that's something. See, that's when I thought, oh shit, I am a Barry. But then again, I'm not that bold. I'm not gonna come up to somebody and be like, bro, that accounting chick over there is fucking smoking.
And he kept talking about dicks and ass and like to the random stranger, and I was like, this is not gonna go well. I've seen too many movies to know how this ends.
So that part, I should have seen that coming. And I was like, okay, that's the boss. I was like, oh no. And Barry's like, dude, I'd fuck her so, dude. She's giving me like a semi-boner, man, right now. And he goes, oh, that one? That's my daughter. I was like, I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, and then Hayes, like Rafi gets upset because he's spending too much time with his child. Like Barry's spending too much time with his kid, and I don't know if the ex-wife is complaining about that or what.
Did the ex-wife even show up? I didn't see her.
I saw her like at the funeral, and then another scene in the kitchen. I don't know for sure. I'm not rewatching it.
I'm not rewatching it.
Just to find that out now. But then they set him up with a mail-ordered bribe.
Bruh, that...
Philippines or something? I don't remember exactly. And
It's
he just spent the entire time insulting her. And
Bruh,
then,
that... Can we talk about that scene real fast?
sure.
Or let's go back to before we get there, let's talk about the speed dating episode or speed dating part of the movie. They were just like, all right, guys, they're just sitting at the bar, bruh. We gotta do something about Barry. They're like, boom, find Barry a wife. Go. They're all sitting there speed dating. Because, our friend can totally interest a girl for 5 minutes without being unfiltered. And I'm like, not gonna work.
Dude, the first one sat down and he's like, next.
I ain't gonna lie, I chuckled a little bit. I don't know why. I'm like, he's just like, next.
And Desmond's in there like, dude, that's not how that works. You change when they ring the bell. And he goes, but she's ugly. And I was like, oh, you don't say that to a woman.
He's like, I don't feel a connection. I'm like, bro, she didn't give you a boner, did she? I'm just thinking, he's just like thinking with his dick. He's just like, yeah, I'm not getting hard. Next.
And then that scene goes on for like 2 minutes.
I like the montage. I
will say that was a pretty hilarious scene. I will say. But then next they go to this Russian guy, this random guy, this creepy guy. He looks like he oozes hamburger grease, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll get you a mail order bride." And he's really hitting off of Barry. And then Desmond says, "Yeah, we would love to get him a bitch," and he like flips out. What the fuck did you say? Damn,
I know, I didn't see that
coming. I was just sitting back in my seat like, what is going on?
And he's just like, we don't have bitches here. It is not Goker's mail order bitches. It's mail order brides. You feel me? I'm just like, shit, he is very passionate about his products.
Well, I was gonna say just about the word bitches, but I mean, and then
also, can we just lay out logically how they could easily find a mail order bride?
Yeah, that made no sense to me. Like in this, well, they're also smoking pot like near continuously. Desmond and Barry. Meanwhile, halfway across the city, you got Raffi with his son playing baseball, which Barry is also there. And then you got Kurt just somehow getting into clubs with his girlfriend.
Yeah, his bitch girlfriend. Can you give me some juice? Because I have cotton mouth. Bro, that scene.
We'll get to that. We got to go on order so they get the idea of the story.
Oh, okay, sorry. But yeah, it just blew my mind. They're like, all right, well, speed dating didn't work. Boom, mail order bride.
And then then Barry goes on the date with mail order bride and he just spends the entire time insulting her. And it's like, you unhinge your jaw to eat, I've got a fart. And then he starts talking about his testicles and I'm just like, okay, this is a Devin move. Like, no filter at all. And then we get a glimpse of another table with a blonde girl.
See, that threw me off. I was like, why are we focusing on Andy from The Office?
And then, it was just a really thing. Like, she's going off about how his self-portrait seemed misleading because she thought he would be taller. And this is the main tendency with their date. And then she wants him to hurry back from going pee so she can go take a shit. That is a quote.
I know. She's like, can you hurry up so I can go take a shit? I'm just like, bro, what kind of first date is this?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was just sitting here like, oh my goodness, this is Megan and Devin.
I mean, that's Megan and Devin now, but that wasn't Megan and Devin on the first date.
Pretty much. From what
No,
I've
it wasn't
seen so far.
It wasn't. I promise you.
Dude, I've lived with you two during quarantine. I just rewatched your guys' relationship. I promise you that.
I promise you that's not how the first date went.
But they get in a cab and they start insulting each other and they find out it's true love. And then like a week goes by and Barry's like, yeah, I haven't called her. And so they all pressure him to call her. And then like she can clearly tell he's being orchestrated to say certain things and he's not doing it well. It's like Devin when he tries to act. Although I will say your opening was good.
It was an emotional movie.
Like, this is the best acting Devin can do.
So you didn't feel heartbroken when they all went their separate ways?
No, I thought all of them were assholes, and it's just so uncomfortable.
I was sad for Barry.
Surprisingly, I wasn't, and I'm more empathetic out of the two of us.
It's alright. I haven't seen it coming.
Oh no, well, I'll get to their relationship in a minute. But they start dating, and they're like having endless sex, and they're all going on a trip to the cabin with that bitch.
With that bitch.
And they end up burning down Kurt's cabin because the candlelight made Mel's body look good for Barry, and they just. Oh, we need to talk about the car scene. So they're all driving a car, and the two of them are in the front seat, Mel and Barry, and then Barry's driving. Barry locks the windows, and then Mel rips one, and everyone's freaking out, and then Barry rips one, and they just refuse to unlock the windows.
Dude, that I was like, bro, that is some childish shit.
Yeah, I was starting to wonder things about, are they mentally sound? Was my questions, because there was something off about them.
It's just a cheesy rom-com.
That is not a cheesy rom-com. That's poop and fart jokes.
It's an Adam Sandler movie.
It's worse than the Adam Sandler movie.
You thought this was worse than an Adam Sandler movie?
Honestly, I did. Like, no cap. Like, honestly, it felt worse than a Adam Sandler movie. But they get in the cabin, they burn down Kurt's childhood cabin, and Kurt loses it. Goes off on Barry.
Can we talk about how the firemen can we talk about how Barry's like, hey man, don't worry, they're professionals, they'll save your cabin. And that fireman comes up, hey bro, we couldn't save your cabin, but I found your burnt up family photos, and the photos just falling apart in his hand. He's like, shit, and just walks away. That made me laugh.
Dude, like the cabin burns down because they were having sex and they knocked over a candle or something. And then this prompts a fight between the friends and Kurt, Rafi, and Desmond all tell Barry off and tell them they don't want to be friends anymore. And then they go back to the city separately. Barry and Mel go together, and then they get into a fight outside Mel's apartment. And then Barry's moping, and in the dirtiest apartment I have ever seen, he sleeps on a mattress on the floor. There's beer bottles, and dude, I don't know how this man is not the Rat King. Barry should be the Rat King.
Oh yeah, it shows his apartment is just trashed. I'm like, oof. That's a big oof, my guy. You need to clean up. And I'm not gonna lie, you know what surprised me? The tit-covered beer bottle. I was like, what the fuck?
That felt like the least weirdest thing to me.
That was the weirdest.
We literally had a scene where both of them are just ripping farts and falling in love because of it.
Yeah, that's not the weirdest thing this movie's doing.
Like true love at first sniff.
True love at first sniff.
Crop dust, you know.
I mean, can we also talk about how they were perfect for each other? First of all, let's go back to the first date. What kind of lady goes, oh yeah, I want to fuck you, but my lady parts ain't shaved and they smell like, oh dude, don't, no.
Okay, so on a date with, what's his name? Hedman?
I think his last name's Hedman. I always call him Andy from The Office because I'm like, oh, it's Andy.
Ed Hellman's. She goes, I didn't think you would be the one to put out on the first date. And she goes, no, I haven't shaved. I have a yeast infection. I mean, you could try, but it just smells really bad.
And
dude, I literally like started curling it on myself. I was like, okay, I understand that's part of the human anatomy, but why would you just share that while you're eating?
That's what I'm saying. I was like, oh, and this is the first date.
I'm going to be honest with you. This made me not only want to not download Tinder again, but burn Tinder's base of operations to the ground.
My man said, "I
Out
want
of
to fuck
fear.
you."
Like that's how weird it was. But like they go through a whole sad montage where it's like, oh, we're sad, and then my friends are sad because I'm not there, and then so they're at bars together like without Barry, and Barry's just alone in his room eating pizza that's off his chest or something weird like that. It's not sanitary. Health code violations though.
It
But
really was
like Rafi's character ticks me the fuck off.
Really?
It was like, dang it, Barry's not here, so I can't get laid. And I was like, yeah, be a fucking parent.
That is true.
And then Desmond got a job, and his real awakening was, shit, I need clean urine.
Oh, can we talk about his wife? I'm not gonna lie. When they in the beginning,
that scene was hilarious. So he's trying to work on work, and all of a sudden she comes in and starts stripping, like trying to get him in the mood, and he's not having any of it because he's got paperwork he has to do, and all of a sudden she's doing Pilates, and his main upset is, "You're wrinkling my papers, woman," and then all of a sudden her butt starts inching closer to his face while he's reading, and just starts slapping him in the face with her ass.
bro, that made me laugh. I'm not gonna lie. I started laughing. I thought that was. I did not expect them to do that kind of scene where she's like booty booty booty, and that's what got me, bro. She said booty booty booty, and I had to pause the movie to catch myself because that made me cry, laugh a little bit.
That was good. Are you ready for a quick ad break?
Yeah, go ahead. We're 20 minutes. I'm just go ahead because I gotta collect myself because all I can think of is booty booty booty. Sorry, I just wanted to snap you back real fast while we were on a quick break.
Okay.
Whew, I had to collect myself. Booty,
I
booty,
think we last left off on booty, but we're actually talking about the whole, like, Desmond's realization that he was being a bad friend to Barry was he had no one to get high with and he didn't have clean urine.
Bro, that killed me. He said
his sex life was great though. I mean, good for him.
Yeah, apparently. I could see why. Booty, 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 booty. That was probably my favorite scene of all time. Booty, booty, booty.
Yep.
Anyways.
I'm going to be honest with you. That was probably my favorite clip of the movie. Well, I take that back. We'll get to my favorite in a minute.
All right. That one's probably not my favorite, but it's in the top. Like I'm just like.
The pirate one is my favorite.
I'm Treasure and you're a bad pirate.
And he grabs all his clothes and he leaves in his underwear.
I'm not gonna lie, that movie. I mean, the movie had its one-liners. It didn't make me laugh a whole lot, but it had its moment.
Oh no, it has had its moments, and those moments were like really big things. But dude, I had a hard time with this movie. But so basically, next thing that happens is we cut to Kurt's character, and he's like in a bar with the two other guys, Desmond and Rafi, and he sees her across the way, and he's like, I'm just gonna go talk to her. And they're like, dude, seriously? And he goes, and they get back together because apparently she was on a date with a guy there.
Oh, the bitch. God, she pissed me off. Bro, she pissed me off in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Well, this bitch is dating the Invisible Man.
You're gonna rub my feet, right? Yes, baby, I'll rub your feet. Barry is childish, so I'm gonna dump you because you won't leave your friend. Like, oh, I'm gonna slap a bitch before the day's over.
There's some brat gaslighting going on. Like, it's not a healthy relationship. And his old revelation was they're in bed. He just got done rubbing her feet, and it's 3 o'clock. He fell asleep. and he's been sleeping, and then 3 o'clock rolls around. I want juice.
I have cotton mouth. I need juice. I'm like, see that scene. I was like, all right, are they trying to make this like a funny sex scene? No, it's just her being a bitch. I was like, oh, are they gonna be funny? Nope, she's just being a bitch. I want some juice. And he's like, so let me get this straight. It's 3 a.m. No, first she goes, there's water right there. She's like, no, I want juice. Like she sounded like this, I want juice. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna slap a bitch. I'm gonna slap a bitch. And he goes, so you want me to walk 8 blocks at 3 in the morning to get you? And here's the thing, she said organic juice with the little farmer on it.
Yep, and it was very descriptive. And it was like a child was complaining they needed their sippy cup. And I was just like, what the fuck? And then this whole like yoga girl pulls up to Rafi teaching his son to bat for the first time in this man's adult life. He's being a parent. And he's like, she gets upset at the water fountain that he doesn't stop teaching the kid.
Yeah, because they were talking at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, when Barry was teaching him how to play baseball, you could see him at the side. He's like, "Yo, girl," blah, 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 like trying to get in her pants.
Yeah.
But no, that
she walks away, and I'm like, good, you better leave.
You don't deserve it.
And I was like, yeah, you be a good parent.
For real.
And then I think we got a scene with Mel where it was just like, I'm so sad. And then,
can we just talk about how she was flipping through her photos of Barry and she just pulled out a dildo? I'm just like, the fuck?
She's sitting. Okay, so there's a scene where they're like showing how good of a couple they are, and they're doing ceramics, and they're just making penises in their ceramics course. And then the one scene after the breakup with Mel, the love interest, she's just cradling this ceramic penis against the side of her face. Like,
and then her roommate Paige is so like chill about it. She's like, "What's up?" I'm just like, you're not even fazed by that. If I walked in and my roommate was just cuddling with a dildo, I'd been like, "Are you okay there, bud?"
It was weird.
Like she wasn't even fazed. The director goes, "Yeah, don't be fazed by this." I'd be like,
to be fair, and you were the Barry of our group in college. And you did some weird stuff. Like, I would come back and there'd just be this random girl in the room. I'd be like, hello.
Random girl?
Yeah. And then she's just sulking in the corner. And you're like, well, it's time for bed. And you're getting ready for bed. And she's just standing there like Blair Witch in the corner. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening here?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't even remember that shit. Sounds like something I would do, but I don't remember it.
It was in Hazel.
Yeah, I got a few wires burnt out in that section of my brain.
Yeah, you did try to find a mattress once in Hazel. But no, here's one that you may remember. I get back from meeting with my parents. And then all of a sudden, Devin pops out of the kitchen. Hey, can you help me make tacos? And I go into the kitchen and I bite it. Like I take one step in that kitchen and I kill myself and I hit the floor and I was like, what the fuck? Why is there taco grease all over the floor? And he goes, I don't know how to make tacos.
There was cheese. You gotta tell them the story how there was cheese. Somehow cheese flew off the pan to the corner of the wall.
Okay, so anytime Devin would make food, it was typically chili dogs, okay?
I do make some good chili dogs.
But anytime he did, like a white person he is, he'd get shredded cheese. But here's the problem. In the apartment we were living in, I would do cleaning, and then all of a sudden I would just find this pile of shredded cheese in a corner. And anytime he cooked, somehow this happens. I don't know why, but it was just perpetually happening.
It was great. Great times.
Mm-hmm. But where were we in just a
Um,
penis.
she's just cuddling with her penis, and her roommate's not even phased by like, hey, you want to meet the new IT guy? Like,
No, I don't want to get head again.
I mean, I'm just, my brain was like, bro, we need to do this scene all over. Act shocked that she's cuddling with a damn dildo. All right, at least act shocked, and then mention the new guy.
But no, dude, that was like the only scene. That was like the only scene of her after the breakup, and I was like, glad we spent so much time. And it was just the premise of it was Barry is male, Mel is female. They're the same people, but the opposite sex. So I think it was implied. Sorry, I had indigestion. I think it was implied that they were grieving very similar, but it was very unclear.
Oh, they were extremely similar. I'm just like, even when they were doing the cutaway between their first dates, I'm like, yeah, they're getting together.
But that's like the last we see, and then eventually everyone has a heart to heart. Like Rafi, Kurt, Desmond, and Barry all get together and they become friends again.
They just hit him with a doo-doo-doo.
And they show this by joking about getting tattoos of a penis on their penis.
That's as best pals forever, which I'm like, no, don't ever do that. Don't
Like they joked about that, and Kurt's like, that would hurt, and Barry's like, that's the point. It was like, what the fuck? And then next scene, they're in like a bar, and Kurt and Rafi are talking about I don't remember what, and Desmond's being the mature friend, the mom friend, and sees Barry across the bar sitting by himself. I'm like, you all came together at this bar, and you're just now noticing Barry's all the way in the end of the other bar, and he just hands Desmond like a handful of money. He goes, this should cover the mail order bride. And he goes, you really need to get a wallet. And I was like, this man just walks around with loose money?
He really does. It's just crumbled up. He's like, here you go. I mean, that could have been like hundreds of dollars, a couple of ones, a couple of fives. I'm like,
it was just very weird and uncomfortable, like, for most of this movie. But what happened next? So eventually, they decide all together that they've got to fix things between Mel and Barry. So they start running to the park because she does Shakespeare in the park, and everyone uses the door but Barry, who climbs over the wall.
I'm not gonna lie, I did laugh a little bit when they're like, wow, we're running, and Barry goes, that's romantic this way.
That is something you would say.
I mean, it made me chuckle. I was like, oh, that is true, because, in every rom-com, they're like, for the final scene, they're like, I have to run to my true love.
And then they're like, he starts listing off the things he loves about her, and they're all disgusting things.
Oh, God. Yeah, I was just cringing at. He's like, my favorite one though was like, he's like, I love your little mustache. He's like, that makes me gay. That makes me gay. I'm gay for the stash. And I was like, Barry, you so stupid, bro.
Like the one that stood out to me was the fact that she had to take all of her clothes off to poop.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off. I'm like, how do you know that about a person?
Remember, they had like a whole month together, Devin.
Well, it is true.
Like they dated for a month, and then the next thing we know, after this little reunion, like, I must parade my love of your asshole. And next thing we see, they're getting married, and everyone's at the wedding, and they're like, yeah, I've got a new job. Thanks for the pee, little buddy. And he gets Rafi's kid to pee in a cup.
Yeah, can we talk about how he was like, his boss at the point when they're all like separate and they're all upset because they all go on their own. He's like, hey, bro, because we're a new parent company, you got to get drug tested. And he goes, okay, like Mickey Mouse mode. I'm like, bro, why'd you go high voice? You would have got fired right then and there.
It It was for the movie. You know, in real life that would not work.
There's
That job thing, like, confused me because I was like, he just got fired and he already has another job. Like, his entire character motivation for this movie was to be the wise old black guy, the friend that has everything together, and like the mom friend. Like that was Desmond's like entire personality in this movie. And then he was like the straight man in this situation, and everybody else was Rafi. I'm gonna get laid. Forget about my son. Kurt's like, I will proclaim my love for you and rub your feet.
I love your feet. I will be a simp. You dang simp.
You got Barry poop fart shit just going off in the corner, and I'm just like, there's no way this friend group lasted this long. They were children when they became friends, and they now are. Desmond would have lost wits end. Everyone in this movie is very immature, except for Desmond and his wife.
I don't know, his wife did kind of go up to him and was like, booty.
Yeah, but still in other scenes, she was she was serious and was like, hey, we don't need to, like, she was actually trying to work out their relationship. Like, hey, we don't need this thing where we both get really into it, dive into our work, and they get distracted, and they work.
That is true.
Mind. They were professional adults. Meanwhile, Mel's cradling a penis, Kurt's rubbing a woman's feet, Rafi's abandoning his child to get pussy.
Oh, I think the reason they were at the bar a lot is because Raphael was a bartender.
Yeah, Rafi was a bartender, but they weren't always in the same bar.
Oh, they weren't? It looked like the same bar.
I think they may have used the same bar, but they tried to light it differently. Like it was different bars, and they would move props around.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. I thought it was all the same bar. I was like, all right, well, obviously they go to Rafi's work just to
plan. I thought that at first too, but every couple of times they would change it. Like, oh, we're at a new inclusive bar. It's a different setting. Anything could happen. Oh, he ran into his ex.
Game over.
But no. And then the wedding. The wedding basically had...
Oh, before we get to the wedding, can we talk about his first line to the girl when they're trying to get back together? He's like, I love your tits.
Yeah, that was his first thing he yelled out. And everyone at the Shakespeare thing. Because he's disrupting an entire play, which is very unprofessional. I will say I've had this done to me, and I will describe that in a minute.
All right.
But he just like barrels over a wall, starts disrupting a play, and Mel like refuses to come out behind the stage. She eventually begrudgingly does it, and he starts doing all this stuff, and then she just takes him back. Like, no one's grown as a person in this movie, and I'm just wondering what we just watched, because the writing was awful.
It wasn't as worse as He-Man, the Power of Grayskull.
Dude, I'm just gonna give you a heads up now. I'm gonna rate this very low.
That's fine. I'm also gonna rate this very well. I'm gonna rate this low.
Well, we're not rating it. But the wedding. So at the wedding, Rafi's like, I met a single mother. And I'm like, you couldn't do that before the wedding?
Bro, that was so weird. They were at the wedding, and Raphael goes, I have a kid. She's like, I know, I have a kid. And he's like, coffee. Weekdays, though. Weekends for the boys. Bye. I was like, hold the fuck up. Oh, I was like, hold up. Hold the fuck up. If this was real life, this is where
I never thought about this before, though. Like, he was just like, oh, I'm at a wedding. She's got kids. Why didn't I also have a kid. We have something in common. Like, you didn't think about that before?
For real.
He was literally just trying to get pussy and not take care of his kid. And I wanted to punch this man in the face for most of the movie.
You know who I wanted to punch in the face for most of this movie?
Kurt.
Sir Simple-A-Lot.
Yep, Kurt.
Yeah, sorry, Kirk, because he needs to grow the fuck up. Like, oh, I'll rub your feet. Hey, will you go back out with me? As she's on a date with another man. Yeah, I'll go back on a date. I'll go back out with you.
Like first off, I don't know how they got together.
I don't neither. It's one of them things.
Like if there was like a reboot, not a reboot, like a prequel to that story behind that, I probably wouldn't watch it. But like how they got together is a mystery in itself, and a lot of the stuff in this fictional universe made no sense. Like how Barry could afford an apartment if he couldn't keep money. He just walks around with loose money.
Oh, you don't remember? He fell through a manhole cover, so the city gave him a free apartment in a lawsuit. He said that on the car ride when him and Mel first met on a car ride.
Dude, I was thrown off by the fact that his first words are to her. So that the girl goes, "Hey, I've been waiting for this taxi," and they go, "Okay," and then
They both go.
They both run over, grab it, and they're like, "Fine, I'll get in," and "Fine, I'll get in," and he goes, "Fine, no, I'm getting off first," and he gets off second. But first, like, and then they're in the cab, and he just rips one. He goes, "I farted to it, Sir Dominance." I was like, what?
It was one of them.
So that was me. If you smell it, and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, he trying to get the woman out the car, like, get out my cab. And the taxi driver's like, you're both idiots.
Yeah, man. So the true victim in this entire story is anybody that had to meet Barry and his friend group. Okay.
Okay.
But dude, it was so stupid. And then at the end, like, they're all sitting around the table, and then Mel and Barry, it's their wedding, so they're furiously making out in front of children.
They were very passionate. I was uncomfortable. I was like, all right, it's supposed to be like a little peck. You know what I'm saying?
No, they're like full on making out. They're like roping each other in public. And it's not even like during the ceremony. It's just after the ceremony. They're just over in a corner. And then you got the three other people, and Kurt meets the roommate, Mel's roommate, and they hit it off. And they're like, maybe in episode 2.
Ho ho ho! Sequel! Ho ho ho!
And they're like, and then you got Rocky with his new love of single mothers. And
you have a kid, I have a kid. Here's my card. I'm like, bro, in real life, that one will trash that card.
Well, I mean, and then you got Desmond, who's like, you know what we've got to worry for now that Barry's married. And they're like, what? Barry's married? And he goes, little Barry's, and they're like, oh no. And I'm like, oh fuck, don't make a sequel. Don't make a fucking sequel.
Let me see if I don't think there is a sequel. I don't think there should be.
Don't look it up. We're not going to watch it. I'm telling you now.
I kind of want to look. I want to look.
This is a no-fly list for the popcorn buckets.
If not, I'll watch it on my own. Is there a sequel? Sequel to someone married Barry. I'm not seeing one either. Oh man. I'm so upset.
Yep, don't see it. I even typed someone marry Barry 2 and nothing came up.
Oh no, I'm so upset.
Alright, so outside of this, we decided that we were gonna watch Hot Rod.
Oh, Before we get to that, I was gonna say, can we talk about how they were setting up? I think they were setting up for a sequel because that's when they showed
They left for sequels.
talk about how they showed up the one guy from Barry's camp, Mel. He's like, oh hell, it's Mel. You don't Mel's the worst, and he's like acting like a Barry, and I'm like, oh no, this is a sequel.
We're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna pray they don't make a sequel. All right,
They
so
won't make a sequel.
how many popcorn buckets are you rating this?
I'm gonna rate it 4, and the reason why it's so low is because like it was supposed to be a comedy, but it didn't really make me laugh a lot throughout, but it had its moments.
I'm wondering who this was a comedy for. Adam Sandler, children. It was very unclear who it was a comedy for.
Yeah,
but
it didn't make me laugh that much. It had its moments, so I'll meet in the middle and give it a 4.5.
see, I was actually debating on between 5 and 3. And the more I think about it, the more I want to give it a 3. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3. But 4 is a good answer.
You're gonna give it a 3, or you're gonna give it a 4?
I'm going to give it a 3.
You're gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
You bumped up to a 4.5.
I mean, it had its moments of funny. I didn't think it was written terribly, but
I thought it was written terribly.
thought it could be funnier. I mean, it wasn't a bad watch. I mean, I was kind of. You thought it was a bad watch?
I thought it was a bad watch.
I mean, it didn't suck me out of it, and it didn't drag like the Power of Grayskull did. So
That is also true.
that's like, bro, I'm telling you, we set the bar like the bar's on the floor with that first episode.
I know. We can only go up from there. But, next we got a good one. Next we're gonna be watching Hot Rod.
All right, Hot Rod with I forget his name. He's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Andy Samberg.
Dude, this is one of my favorite movies.
I've started it months ago when it was on Hulu, but I never finished it. And everybody tells me it's a good movie, so I think we're in for a good watch.
All I've got to say is never sneak up on a man that's been in a chemical factory.
Did you finish it? Oh yeah, you said you already finished it, so I just gotta watch it real fast.
Yeah.
Which I'll probably do here later this evening.
So we'll see you the 22nd of August.
Yep. Bye everybody.
Don't forget your popcorn buckets.
Don't forget them. Don't forget that side of butter.